Mark. Awesome. So, hello everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 56. Today is September the 3rd, and happy Thursday to you all. We are live now, as you know, on YouTube and Discord, and this call will be available for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to be asking your question while this call is happening so we can have our good Q&A session at the end. I'll pass the word now to Luca and Alberto to give us the engineering updates. Please go ahead, guys.
Thank you, Angie. So again, Luca here with Alberto, Engineering Director, and today we have quite a long list to talk about. So we'll go there immediately. Let's maybe start from the papers.
Yeah. Okay. I will try to keep it short because there are a lot of things going on here. As Luca mentioned, regarding the papers. Currently, the draft of the paper of the Latus decentralized actors reward scheme is finished and is under review. So we are in this phase reviewing this first draft, and I mean, for now, looks amazing. So we expect to have some iteration, but for now, it's very clear and very interesting. And this is covering the model that is ruling the ecosystem that is needed for generating, for example, the proofs on the sidechain side in a decentralized way. So this means, for example, having a reward scheme that incentivizes actors to produce the proofs. And moreover, the scheme should also, cover the part for proving who are the provers that joined the tree of proofs, and many other roles that are needed for, managing the whole epoch in the sidechain. So was needed to formalize it, and now we have this paper, and everything I think is proceeding very well. Also related to this part, we also made a mathematical analysis on the proof generation orchestration strategy. So. As I was saying before, we have a model that incentivizes actors to produce a proof, but we want these proofs being generated at the lowest price. So they have to compete, but at the same time collaborate together to generate the final proof. So this means exchanging messages between the provers that are the proofs generated, and to have them competing, we designed a specific model that, define a list of candidates' proofs that the provers should work on and where they have precedence. So, to keep it short, we also analyzed the model that we designed from a mathematical standpoint. And so, another paper, a smaller one, has been written, and a draft of it has been already sent for a Belarusia conference. We're still in time for reviewing it, but for timing issue was needed to submit it earlier. And so this is related to papers. Okay, another big effort during this week was related to defining all the tasks that are needed for going to production. So, what is needed to go to production? What are the topics that we are going to cover, and what are the macro elements that are needed? And we went also into the details about the tasks. So just very briefly, this includes, for example, the main chain changes that are needed for the sidechain model completion. And what does this mean? It means, for example, the main chain certificate acceptance quality management. What is that? If we receive two certificates in main chain for the same sidechain, we have a parameter that is the quality, and this is needed, for example, to manage forks in the sidechain. It's a normal situation where you can have two histories, maybe one with more blocks and one other with less blocks. So we have designed our model to be able to manage this kind of situation with the quality. But we still need to introduce this management on the implementation side in main chain. So this is something that is needed to be completed in main chain. For example, the seized sidechain withdrawal is another important part that needs to be completed. So this is just to make some example about main chain. Regarding the sidechain, we have to finish the full Latus model implementation, and this also is related to the analysis that we made for the decentralized actors reward scheme. What does this mean? That the reward scheme that we designed has to be implemented. This means, for example, how we distribute the fees, how we exchange the proofs between the provers, what kind of network we use, what kind of how we share these proofs. So this orchestration model needs to be implemented, and this is something that is needed for our production version. So this is something that we will be working on. Okay, and many other, obviously, many other parts are involved in this. For example, related to the proving system and on the circuit side. So, I mean, it will be some challenging months that will lead us to production. Okay, let's go back to something more nearby, and let's go back to for example, to the memory leak issue. Okay, we proceeded in finding the cause, and we identified that it seems to be related to the memory fragmentation on some glibc libraries. Okay, on some versions of glibc, there is an optimization for, let me say, a more efficient memory allocation strategy in case of multi-threading environments, so and processes. So we have seen that if this optimization is enabled, the issue is present. So currently, we found as a workaround the possibility also to disable this kind of optimization, and everything seems to work fine. I mean, as it was on previous glibc versions. So this is something that should allow anyone to run the sidechain node without having this issue. But in any case, we want to understand better why this is happening, and so we are again going on and understanding more deeply what could be the cause. Okay, regarding totally switching topic, proof generation. So I mean, Snark's proof generation. We are currently evaluating a solution based on FPGA that seems to speed up the proof generation a lot. So for now, it seems promising, but I mean, we will provide more details in the next weeks. But for now, it seems really promising. In any case, in parallel, we've also been testing performances of an algorithm that optimize multi-scalar exponentiation. And this is something that we already saw that produces some, let me say, improvement. Okay, regarding the Lumber Registry, there are a couple of things that we want to extend, and the product team will proceed with that, but probably Rosario will cover these later more in details. And the last thing, but I mean, very important, we are also preparing the content for the webinar that will take place the next Thursday. The webinar will cover the development aspects on using our SDK. So whoever is interested into it, please join next Thursday.
I know hundreds of people have already signed up for it, so very excited for that. Can't wait to see you all next Thursday on the webinar. And yeah, as Alberto just said, if you haven't done already, please, if you are interested, make sure you have the link to register yourself to the webinar. We will be here for the engineering-related questions at the end. That's it for now.
Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Alan to give us some node updates.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to discuss the feature that we were calling exchange staking, and which was originally designed for exchanges to participate in staking nodes. This feature is now being called single address staking, and it is live on our supernode system. So this consists of the ability to put multiple amounts for stakes for multiple nodes into one Zen address and use that across multiple nodes. It also allows multiple payout addresses that are not the stake address, which is the case for all existing nodes. And that gives a lot more flexibility on how to split out the earnings. Up to 5 addresses can be set up and configured in that. There is a tool that we built called the Stake Verification Tool. It's available on GitHub. There are executables for multiple platforms, and that is used to create a transaction that comes out of the stake address to prove ownership of the stake address itself. And these tools can be used, if you'd like to experiment with it, can be used on testnet to check out how it all works. But if you read through the documentation on GitHub, that will give you a good idea of how it works. There's help within the stake tool to step you through the process. There are multiple ways to actually send transactions out of the stake tool. So there's a lot of flexibility built into it. A blog post will be deployed, I guess, shortly after the stand-up here. Look for that in the near future, give you a little more details and links to the documentation. Additional guides are being developed, and they will be available shortly. Again, this is only available on supernodes at this point, but we're looking forward to it being deployed, or being useful, not just for exchanges, but for anybody who's running a supernode. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Alan. Let's continue with Spencer to give us the Helpdesk updates.
Thanks, Angie. I can be brief. Customer satisfaction for the past 7 days stayed even at 4.9 out of a possible 5.0. There were 272 Helpdesk issues in the last 7 days. ZenHub Faucet was responsible for 158. All other issues totaled 114. Of the ZenHub issues, I can point out various website issues that were identified and addressed, duplicated user IP addresses, and typical payment issues. Other issues were identified as Box Jump Game, Sphere by Horizen, and Node support. Users did report that accrued Box Jump payments were being made. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Spencer. Let's continue with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. So in terms of ZenHub, we released it this week. It looks really cool. It's brand new. Basically, it's like a completely new site, and it's very gorgeous. So we rolled out with a couple of issues like Spencer was talking about. They've all been fixed. So the site is now usable and on mobile, on desktop. Everything is working well. We should see the number of those tickets go down because the issues are no longer there. So in addition to that, we also rolled out, the level up rewards last week. Just wanted to give an update on that. They seem to be really well received by the community. So far, I've seen nothing but positive comments and positive feedback on that. So I'm really happy to see that. In addition to that, all blocks jump payments are resumed. So we've incorporated 5 or 6 new security checks for the game. And since we've done that, we've seen absolutely no issues. So if you still have a blocks jump payment that's pending, you shouldn't anymore. So please reach out if you do. Other than that, play as normal. Everything is back to how it was before. In addition to that, we're now looking forward. So Zen Hub was a big release. It has a new flow. It has the level up rewards. It has the first game. And so now we're looking ahead into what's next on the roadmap. So the next things on the roadmap for me are more games. And we talked with Gustavo today about re-exploring the forum aspect and potentially adding a forum to the Zen Hub where people can post not just about Zen, but about privacy, about blockchain, and pretty much anything related to those 3 topics. And that's it for me this week. Gustavo, do you have anything?
Nothing to relate today. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you guys. And now next we have Bano for the BD updates.
Hello everyone, thanks Angie. So currently, BD team's priority is continuing the DevShop outreach to introduce Zendu to as many developers as possible to grow our ecosystem. And so far, we are making progress on that front. Also, with the help of our marketing team, we have a very nice intro document, and we are also working on more in the background to assist us with the outreach. And then we are trying to move forward with several possible staking partners, and our latest developments with staking tool helps here a lot. And huge thanks to Chronic and Alan for developing such a great improvement for our node system in such a short time possible. Working with third-party analytics companies as well, and we have talks also with the licensed European fiat on-ramp and off-ramp provider that we mentioned last week, but unfortunately I cannot share specific names or details yet. Also, in the second half of September, we are planning for the video YouTube AMA with Rowan and Whitebit, the Eastern European exchange, which added support for Zen recently, and we will soon announce this event on our social media. And this week, I am attending the Festival of Learning by Real Vision, a two-day virtual financial conference, and the main goal is to network with other attendees to promote Horizen and our technology. So far, this has been a great community, and options there for networking is great, and this event hasn't been an exception. That's all from us. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Vano. Let's continue with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday and happy September. Another reminder after Luca, the registration for our technical webinar, how to build a customized D app on Horizen, is still open. All application developers from all around the world are welcome to join. So this webinar is next Thursday, so it's coming up really, really soon. It's on September 10th at 5 p.m. UTC or 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. Our engineering team will walk guests through the process of building a decentralized application using our SDK step by step. So there will be a Q&A session as well. So it's an invite-only webinar, so you must register first. We currently already have over 400 developers registered. If you are a developer and also interested in learning to build a D app on Horizen, so make sure that you register as well. You can find the registration portal on our website and social media feeds. And then on top of that, we have also released the second episode tutorial video for how to build a customized D app on Horizen. So this is a great material that can help any app developer to get started building using our SDK. And if you are planning on attending our webinar next week, these tutorial series are really, really great to prepare you for that. And Zen Hub, so previously Zen Faucet is live. I just wanted to piggyback on something Jonathan has already mentioned, and then I also wanted to give a big shout out to our designer Linda and then our UX team led by Gustavo, for building the platform, and then of course the growth lead Jonathan, the mastermind behind all the cool features. And then thank our users who provided feedback, and then our UX team were able to act really quickly and improved the site. So now I think that Zen Hub is beautiful and also very, very user friendly. And to celebrate the launch of Zen Hub, we are doing a giveaway. And if you're frequent Zen Hub, aka Zen Faucet users, you will not miss the giveaway. Okay, so make sure that you visit Zen Hub every day. You never know what you will get, a good surprise that you will get. So the current giveaway ends on September the 15th. And so there is still time to join if you have not yet. And lastly, I would like to share some key community growth metrics since we just ended August. So in the month of August, our Twitter following grew 6.2%, and Facebook following grew 2.4%. And then also our newsletter subscription grew 6.5%. This is very, very strong increase, actually. Remember that, our benchmark, our actual size is very large. So, even single digit percentage growth can be huge. And then also in comparison to previous month, this growth is bigger than July, bigger than some of the average growth that we've had. So really, really happy to see that. That's it from me. Thank you. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Now let's welcome Rosario for product and engineering updates.
Rosario here. You've heard Alberto mention some details of continued SDK development, and we've come to a natural point where we need to split SDK resources, or reallocate some resources, I should say, not to give Alberto a heart attack. We need the SDK engineers to continue developing, and we also need to provide continued support for the SDK and developer tools. And thinking of the SDK as a product, we need to continue expanding documentation, providing code examples, developing new modules, etc. So Paolo and developer Marco, not to be confused with Marco, our designer, will transition to provide SDK developer tools to make it easy for developers to use the SDK while the engineering team continues expanding the SDK functionality. And of course, this coming week, they will be providing the webinar because, of course, they are the builders of the SDK, and this is a great opportunity for our early adopters to have direct interaction with the brains that develop the SDK. So, in terms of expanding the SDK toolset, so Alberto mentioned the Lambo registry. So there's two key components that will make the Lambo registry more helpful or useful. So Paolo will be working on the application state and application wallet, and he'll be leading that effort, getting familiar. And Paolo previously has been dedicated for Sphere. So this will be a little bit of a pivot. And Sphere will become a second priority as we focus on developer outreach and making tools available for developers to build on Horizen. And of course, as we move to developer outreach, we need to have a developer liaison. So we'll be opening a role for this type of person. It will be an advocate This will be a highly technical role. This person will need to be comfortable and familiar with writing technical documentation, code, videos, and of course, needs to love interacting with our community. So this will be a key role that I hope we find great candidates for. Regarding HDE, Angie posted the link. So guys, if you're interested in getting your feet wet, this is a great tool to have for you to see what's out there and get yourself familiar with Horizen. And look forward to having you at the webinar. So next week, 10 September. Thank you for joining today. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, are there any comments or updates you'd like to share?
Yeah, Angie, just some quick. As I was listening to the update today and think about all the updates that we've had here over the years, it's great that we're able to provide a glimpse to people in how actual useful, sustainable, and secure software gets developed. And it's definitely a process, and it's a process that the team works through, and there's many different elements of the team. Architect, cryptographer, software developers for the front end, for the back end, program managers, project managers. Then we have to make sure that the people who are going to use it actually find it and are interested. So, marketing, business development, all sorts of different things like this. So most organizations don't give a glimpse into the actual process, but since from our very beginning we've been a community involved program or project, I'm glad that we do these weekly updates, and there is incremental progress every week, but this is how real software gets done, and this is how you end up with after a few years a useful, good project that can make a very big difference in the world. Thanks. That's all I got.
Thank you, Rolf. And now let's welcome Rob for the final part and Q&A session.
Thank you, Angie, and love the idea of making a big difference in the world, a very big difference in the world, Rolf. That was awesome and very well stated. On my end, let's see. So we have partnerships with some partnerships actually that we're in process of crafting some PR to make the announcements. Really excited for them. We've been alluding to them over the previous weeks, and we're actually the way that they've culminated, and you'll see in the announcements. They actually beat my expectations. I'm really excited. We're going to be kicking off actually some projects in the very near term, actually using our technology for some very prominent projects that are already out there. And the way that we're doing this, the way we're restructuring to be maximally effective on actually building things like now, not waiting for the future to get out there and make our technology widely accessible. Rosario's product team, she's in process of crafting and staffing up. She's mentioned, on her update here, how she's going about it. What this means is Rosario's team will be really the pointy end of the spear on working with these types of partnerships and actually building out proofs of concept and early stage applications with our technology. And really what this means is taking our SDK and launching side chains with key partners. So we are chronically understaffed. This is kind of the story of our lives, always being resource constrained. But in any case, this activity is too important, so we're going to be staffing up at least 4 to 6 new developers. We're starting the hiring process immediately. We should have been doing this a while ago if we had the resources, but we didn't. So we've been a little bit judicious and conservative with how we're staffing up and managing our teams and workflows. Now we're at the stage in our evolution where it just makes complete sense to spin off a dedicated product team to work with partners. Because as we go through our project schedules on getting Zendoo matured, the Lattice full implementation rolled out to testnet, to mainnet, there's so much work ahead for the engineering team. We're as well chronically understaffed on our engineering team, and we will be staffing up and hiring on the engineering side as well. But every time we pull out engineering resources to work with potential partners or just explore ideas with people, we bump directly into the critical path for these projects, and we necessarily bump the schedule out. This new organization I'm extremely excited about because we're carving out a team dedicated to these types of partnerships, dedicated to getting applications out there in the real world today. So this is exciting, and by doing this, we're not going to be pulling engineering resources from critical path work every time we want to explore an idea. and we have lots of ideas, and you're going to hear in the very near future, as soon as we can get the press releases put together and actually float them out to journalists. Very excited though. So one of these projects will be working with a very well-known peer-to-peer lending application on the market and carving out 2 sidechain projects for them. One will be tracking assets on the app to provide a kind of unprecedented level of transparency for the application and users, going towards their mandate of transparency and good faith with their users, and also just our mandate, the types of values that we want to project in the world. Transparency and good governance is absolutely key to that. So really excited for that project. The second project with this partner will be looking at another sidechain that actually extends the application features on their application to use zero knowledge proofs. So really excited to start scoping out what that's going to look like. That will be the second project coming after the first lower hanging fruit project. So we have a sequence of work with this one partner. We're also going to be announcing another partner, again, in the DeFi marketplace. So more to come there, but the goal of that project is, again, transparency and immutability for their users' records so that they can have confidence in the application itself. So really excited to work with these types of partners and just immediately showcase the power of our technology and using the SDK. Now, augmenting this product focus and narrowing this to a series of very quick wins, we're putting together teams to focus on porting over other open source tools that just already exist and are already part of other ecosystems that are exploding, and very much respect these other ecosystems, and they're positioning themselves, that they're positioned exactly where we're trying to position ourselves. So it just makes complete sense to start getting some quick wins on that side, on the tool side, and also exploring partnerships and opportunities with key dev shops that have significantly contributed to other very important projects out there that, again, are also in the same space of multi-blockchain ecosystems like we are with Zendu. So again, excited to look at these partnerships and our own product engineering team working with partners, and also looking at partnering with other dev shops to bring in other tools en masse, and to do this like ASAP. We're also interested in starting to look for a developer evangelist for the foundation. Rosario mentioned this, but just to reiterate what we're looking for here. So because we're building out this developer ecosystem and focusing hard on being a dev-first project and building this developer ecosystem, we want someone who's super passionate about crypto, obviously a ton of crypto experience. There's a huge learning curve coming from outside of crypto and coming in and being immediately productive, but it's not just that. We don't just want someone who can code. Right? We can find people who can code all over the world. What we want is someone who lives and breathes crypto, that just lives for this stuff and wants to, it just has a passion and wants to bring that passion to our project and accelerate our community development activities. Someone has to fit our culture as an ecosystem, fit our culture as a foundation here with this organization. They also have to be a hands-on coder. We're not just looking for someone to curate and communicate with developers. We're looking for someone to actually be hands-on coding and accelerate our tool development and just accelerate ecosystem in general. So really excited. We have some really good candidates in mind that we're vetting right now. So I think something will materialize sooner rather than later in this front as well. But you can see where we're going here: dev-focused and bringing tools over so we can support our developers and actually getting our technology in the short-term and intermediate term out there in the marketplace, while we're concurrently doing some significant back-end core development with the engineering team. And so both, a few people have mentioned this on the call already, but the webinar coming up next week is extremely important. So guys, if you are a developer in the community here, please join, be part of this. Even if you're not a developer and you want to just come and see what's going on, you can have a hands-on walkthrough with our SDK team. Alberto will be on there as well. So just the information flow will be invaluable. And we'll also take this and make it available as a resource to developers so they can access it at any point. But this will be the first of just a series of focus and commitments to making our tools available and actually useful for people. So let's see, just to sum this all up, guys, you can see focus is absolutely critical for us. We are dev-focused right now. The project has shifted gears, if you haven't noticed, over the last few months, ever since we delivered the Zendu beta back in July. And we've been ramping up this focus and ramping up the community building, ramping up just how every single division in our organization is focusing on this. We are working on tools, KPIs for proper measurement. We're restructuring for maximum effectiveness, like you can see here, carving out the product engineering team from the engineering team, so we can really just start sprinting towards these quick and intermediate wins on using the technology, and just refining the core tech and continuing the heavy development on the engineering side is absolutely critical. And ultimately, we know we're in a race right now to get our technology to mainnet. There's a lot from here to mainnet, and the team is hyper-focused, and we are going to be expanding our team so we can expand our capacity to actually deliver. Really exciting times for the project. I know the market's going crazy right now, and we've heard anecdotally some people are just kind of losing focus or not seeing the types of growth or adoption that they might like to see. And guys, I can tell you, probably no one feels this more than me. I feel this pent-up energy with the project. We've been developing for years now on getting this technology to where it is now and to where it needs to be, getting it to mainnet. It's extremely exciting, but we are exactly focused on, I think, exactly what we need to do. So please be patient, and you will see some very, very near-term wins, especially with the announcements that will be forthcoming in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So thank you for that. We can open it up to questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. So the first question is, will you run a new funding for Horizen Labs?
That is TBD. That's so Horizen Labs, what I can say is going to actually be contributing significantly more in the near term to the ecosystem. So actually, this is a topic I didn't mention here, but we had a really big internal Horizen Labs meeting yesterday where we focused on our development path, our product path, and we see that we need more resources, and the labs does have some reserves that they will be deploying to bring on more talent in the very near term. So actually, a lot of the engineers that we're looking to pick up on the core tech side will be through labs, and very much labs technology focused. But that's also critical for the commercial adoption of the ecosystem. We need it, and because we're going to be expending more capital or deploying more capital in the near term, expanding our capacity, the company knows that it has to have on its radar another funding round if we want to continue with this type of expansion, but it's still TBD. So we'll see where things go. Right now, the company has adequate reserves and great capacity and expanding capacity, so things are going really well. But to the extent that we want to accelerate delivery, we may need to consider some more capital. So I'll leave it ambiguous like a good politician, but it's certainly something on our radar.
Great. The next question is, after the release of sidechains on mainnet, will the DAO be discussed?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually, a precursor to the DAO and something that I want to just promote here in this forum is the Horizen Community Council is a project that P2 launched some months ago. And I know that it's had some community participation, but it's something I want to encourage everyone to participate in. What we need for the Community Council is a broad cross-section of representation from our community. So I want if you think of people like classes of stakeholders, which I'm loath to do because every person, every human has many interests, right? So it doesn't always make sense to classify a person as a developer or a node operator or a trader or just someone interested in where we're going as a technology or for social causes. I hate to classify people into these types of groups because we all have many interests and we can all participate in many ways. But what I really want to see from the Community Council is a broad cross-sectional representation. So I highly recommend everyone here join the council, make your voice heard, and start participating in our governance. So I view this is a key precursor to opening up to direct voting from the community that we will absolutely do as one of the first infrastructure projects with the sidechain technology that I want to do is the voting system. To me, this is the most important. What I want to do, though, is actually have broader community conversation about which should be the first project. My vote is on the voting system, right? So I think extending the voices and just having representation from our community directly and participating in governance is absolutely key. This is one of our stated goals 3 years ago. So when we launched, let's get it done. And my vote goes towards let's get the voting system out there as the first infrastructure project, but like good democracy and institutional developers here, I want this to be open to the community to have rigorous discussion about what we should do, but that's where I want to go. But anyway, to recap, participate in the community council today, because this is just the first rumblings of our democracy that we're trying to build, the first part of the institutional framework that we want for broad institutional governance.
Okay, and the last question is, how will a faucet user get convinced to invest in Zen?
That's a good one. Jonathan, do you want to take a stab at this, since this is really your baby with Gustavo?
Hey, so Angie, the question is, how will a faucet user get convinced to invest in Zen?
Exactly.
Well, that's a really interesting question. So what I would say, the purpose of the faucet is to gain awareness of Zen, to gain awareness of blockchain, to gain awareness of privacy technology, and to learn enough to want to dig in deeper. So I wouldn't say that one of the goals of the faucet is to get people to invest in Zen. I think the goal of the faucet is to get people to learn about Zen and love the project so much that they want to be a part of it. And that doesn't mean just investing money. It can mean investing time, through HDE. It could mean investing time by sharing news on social media. So there's a lot of ways you could invest in Zen without actually spending dollars. If you did want to spend dollars, I mean, we have a Changely widget right on the front page, which makes it very easy. But more important for me than people buying Zen is sharing the mission of Zen with their friends, their family, and using their voice to get our project out there. So hopefully that makes sense.
And if I could add on to that, the way that I see that the folks, because the faucet payouts aren't huge, that there is a noticeable amount of Zen that you can get, but they're not huge payouts. So the people that are on and active in the faucet are ones where this makes a difference, and that gives us visibility into different communities all over the world. And in some of those communities, their local government may not have all the right governance tools or currency or other things like that that enables these people to operate at their optimum potential. So when we start putting in governance things or other types of sidechain applications, my feeling is that the folks that are active members on the faucet are going to be some of the first users to those applications, because I'm here in the United States, and a lot of if it's a car registry application or a voting application or some other type of identification application, maybe United States of America is not the best place for that, but there's lots of other places in the world where these type of applications can make a big difference. And it also gives us visibility into what applications are needed and would be useful in other communities around the world. So I really see the faucet and the ongoing engagement of people there as a very important part of the actual use of the Zen cryptocurrency over the next few years. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Those were the top 3 questions. Thank you, everyone, for attending our Weekly Insider. Remember, we do this every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. UTC on Discord and YouTube to give you all the latest Horizen updates. Have a great rest of the day and see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.